and the main idea to show architecture and actually to show how it works and to deploy a real Ethereum smart contract and to see how it works on the Solana network. Please, next slide. So, I would say we have Ethereum as one of the most popular networks platforms for developers. I'm familiar with the Ethereum from 2016, and it's very impressive how it's getting popular and how many developers do so many different interesting dApps. And you can see by yourself and the trivial of different dApps in Ethereum and different use cases from DeFi, GameFi to industrial IoT things and everything. So Vitalik Buterin actually did a great job with this invention and even greater job for the community and the ecosystem to make it really distributed and powerful. From the other hand, we have one of the most fast-growing networks, Solana. It's still young and still has some problems sometimes, but we can see very interesting scenarios coming from NFT use cases, and we see the possibility of the network to reach up to 6,500 TPS. And again, it depends on the network and everything, but this is the goal, and it's super powerful. It's much faster than Visa potentially, and still way to go, but it's happening, and Solana investing a lot of efforts to bring innovations, and we see Saga mobile phone, different SDK to help with the mass adoption, and we see private transaction just coming announcement from a couple of days ago. It's growing. And people are a bit different in the Solana ecosystem. The community is a bit different, and it's very interesting to see both worlds. And here's the next slide. And around 2 years ago, our team decided, hey, let's unify these two worlds together. And we have already 45 specialists in the team. Most of the team are engineers. And Solana is pretty complicated, written in Rust, and it requires very strong engineering to make it, to build something on Solana, and especially the protocol like us. So we have to unify the Ethereum world and understand one standard, one architecture, and to unify with the Solana, totally different architecture, totally different consensus protocol approach to work with the resources on the network, storage, and everything. So Ivan will share more details about Solana itself and the Neon and the Ethereum. We did pretty significant progress. Please, next slide. And we on the DevNet, and we are in the pre-mainnet stage. What does it mean for us? It for us is testing. It means we're testing blue chip dApps, most popular, and the way to test different combinations of Ethereum dApps on Neon. It's actually runs on Solana. Again, Ivan will share more about the architecture and how we actually created the platforms that you can deploy any smart contract, Ethereum smart contract, any dApp, and it will run natively on Solana using the power of Solana and parallel processing and everything. Another aspect, integration with all the necessary tools that are coming from the Ethereum world, like Chainlink and Antigraph and different explorers to be ready. And of course, security auditing, and of course, readiness of different apps, especially from the DeFi, to start with us on the mainnet. Please, next slide. yes, we're still on the DevNet, and mainnet is coming soon. Again, depends how successful will become the stage of the testing, all things to do, but we're close. And we have a grant program. Actually, we created a grant program. It will be announced very soon. And what does it mean? It means we're about digitalization. We're about different apps, different tools, different services, and we will invite you to work with us, work with the platform. We'll have a DAO and different voting, different initiatives to use these grants. And if you're coming from the community area, or you have infrastructure tools, or DeFi, or you can help with to the community with the UI UX approach. So please come to us, and we'll be more than happy to work together and that it will impact the whole network. Please, next slide. So as mentioned before, two different worlds, two different communities, and we have some interesting approaches from the Ethereum, and we really wait for the match also to see how it will. But it's definitely a significant step for the Ethereum community. And Solana is growing, and to unify all this and to overcome. I mean, to deploy Solidity smart contract, it's okay, and it's not, I don't say it's easy, but it's okay. It's not so complicated. When you start dealing with the Solana and the Rust and PPF instructions, it's totally different world. And our main goal is that if you're coming from the Ethereum, to get fast track and to join Ethereum ecosystem and all the projects on the Solana by, let's say, one-click deployment. I mean, this is the ideal world for us. But yes, you can deploy, and any transaction that you will run, it will be the same like Ethereum, but it will run natively using the power of Solana. And to show you how it works, actually, I will give the word to Ivan. Ivan, please show us how it works.
Thank you, Konstantin. Hello, everyone. My name is Ivan, and I'm gonna tell you about Neon EVM architecture. I'm really glad to present our project to you today. And I'm gonna tell this story from the person of developer. Here's our main hero, Solidity developer. And let's say Solidity developer want to develop or deploy his smart contracts to Solana. Of course, on Solana you have some liquidity allocated, you have some smart contracts, and as the Solidity developer, you obviously want to interact with these assets, with these smart contracts, and so on. But when you come closer to Solana, you will face the obstacle. This is because Solana have very different architecture from Ethereum one. Solana has a different transaction structure. Solana has another virtual machine, so you can't just run Ethereum virtual. You can't just run Ethereum smart contract inside it. And inside Solana, we has a slogan, chewing glass. And this slogan refers you to all the difficulties that typical Solana developer is facing every day because of its restrictions, because of some difficulties with transaction creation, and so on. And after typical Solidity developer understand all these restrictions, he usually become depressed. But we in Neon Labs found out that something is missing here, something missing between worlds of Ethereum and Solana. So, what we did, we created two main components. The first component is Neon EVM. Neon EVM is a Solana smart contract. It is written in Rust, and it is compiled for Solana virtual machine. And this smart contract implements Ethereum virtual machine. So therefore, we are building a layer 2 for Solana, where you can run your Ethereum bytecode natively or seamlessly to migrate your Ethereum bytecode inside Solana. To do that, you also need some interface transformer, some adapter that translates Ethereum RPC into Solana RPC. This adapter is called Neon Web3 Proxy. It's basically just HTTP web server, which have Ethereum RPC on the one side, and this RPC is faced to the client. And on the other side, it has a client for the Solana RPC. So after that, you can use Neon Web3 Proxy to deploy your smart contracts inside Solana and inside Neon EVM. So let's dive a little bit deeper into internals of Proxy. So as I said before, on the left-hand side, we have EVM user, and he wants to send Ethereum-like transactions. We call them Neon transactions. But on the other hand, we have Solana blockchain and Solana RPC. How we do these translations between Ethereum-like transaction into Solana-like transactions? The main difference here between transactions is that Solana always require the list of accounts that will be affected by every particular transaction. In this list of transactions, you should specify what accounts will be affected, what accounts will be read-only, what accounts will be will have read-and-write access, and what accounts are signers for this transaction. Ethereum transaction don't have such information. So what we did, inside Neon Proxy, we have so-called EVM emulator. This is a piece of software that partially simulates transactions. It's a kind of copy a smart contract that is deployed inside Solana, but this smart contract have another way to interact with data. This emulator is aimed to emulate transactions and get the list of accounts that will be involved in Solana execution, to transaction execution inside Solana. After you get this list of accounts, this data is packed with Ethereum transaction into Solana transaction and sent to Solana node. After it, Solana can interpret this Ethereum transaction inside Neon EVM and run all necessary calls, save data, read data, and so on. That's how it works. What I also want to tell you about is iterative Neon transaction execution. What is it about? Actually, as I said before, in Solana we have some restrictions. We have restriction on amount of data that can be spent in one transaction. We have restrictions on amount of data that can be processed during one transaction. We have restrictions on amount of compute cycles that can be executed in the scope of single Solana transaction. But in Ethereum world, we also have restrictions, but the many typical Ethereum smart contracts wants a lot more computational power to be executed. So what we did, we introduced an algorithm called iterative transaction execution, and the idea is to split transaction execution to several steps. So single Ethereum-like transaction or Neon transaction will be split by proxy server to several Solana transactions, and every this single Solana transaction will do only part of work. And when when transaction came to its end, then will be generated finalized transaction, and only after that all the changes will be applied to Solana blockchain. So that's how we overcome limitations with computational units in Solana. But of course, if you have this step-by-step transaction execution, you have to have some way to store intermediate state of your smart contract between these steps. Because you cannot apply all the changes inside Solana, inside blockchain, before you came to the finalization step. Otherwise, you will not be able to revert changes in the case of failure on some step. That's why we introduced so-called storage account. The idea is that when proxy send first iterative transaction execution and Neon EVM executes first part of Ethereum transaction, after it stores its intermediate state inside Solana account. This is a temporary account which created to store this intermediate data. After it, Neon EVM sends result to Neon proxy, and this result tells that part of execution finished. After it, Neon proxy run continue Neon things to Neon EVM program. Neon EVM loads intermediate state from Solana account again, continuous execution. At the some point of time, Neon EVM again faced with limitation. After it saves intermediate state, notify Neon proxy continuous execution, Neon EVM again restores state, and finally we have reset. We have a result of execution that was sent to proxy. That's how iterative transactions work with Solana storage accounts. So, everything is doing on-chain. Proxy is responsible only for emulation and iterative transaction flow. So all the signature checks are happening on-chain, all the mathematics happening on-chain, everything else happening on-chain. Let's keep it, no problem. So, what's also worth mentioning here, we in Neon want to build ecosystem that which allows you not only to run Ethereum smart contracts inside Solana, but also to interact with liquidity inside Solana and interact with smart contracts inside Solana. So we want this transparent environment that will allow Solidity developers to live inside Solana ecosystem. But how do we implement it? How do we provide this interoperability between Ethereum smart contracts and Solana smart contracts? We do it by implementing the concept of wrapper. Wrapper is a piece of software hard-coded inside Neon EVM, and this piece of software acts like precompiled Ethereum smart contract. So it have API which is compatible with Ethereum smart contracts on the one side inside Neon EVM, and on the other side it has implementation which interacts with Solana smart contracts and Solana assets. After that, your smart contract is able to use this well-known API to interact with Solana ability. Which makes it possible to migrate different assets from another blockchains inside Neon EVM. You can use third-party bridge to bridge your, let's say, ERC20 token through this bridge inside Solana. After it, they are tokens. SQL token is just Solana standard for fungible and non-fungible tokens. And after it, you will have a SQL token inside Solana. And to bring it inside Neon EVM, you can use ERC20 wrapper that adapts this SQL token interface and make it looks like ERC20 smart contract from the side of Neon EVM. And after it, you can interact with this SQL token liquidity using ERC20 interface from inside your smart contracts in Neon EVM. Also, crucial part is decentralization. I should say that Neon EVM is a trustless environment, so we have several proxies, and no one of these proxies is able to compromise your data somehow. You own your private keys, you assign your transaction with your private keys, and all the signature checking is happening on-chain. So you could be sure that your data will not be compromised, your assets will not be stolen. Every proxy is interchangeable. You can choose those entry points you prefer. We have governance that will drive the development of a project. So stakeholders will be possible to suggest their proposals and vote for them, and every change in the system will be transferred to community. You will never face the changes you are not expected. That's our aim, to make transparent environment. We have no single point of failure because we are trustless, because every proxy is interchangeable, because the system is completely decentralized. So next, last but not least, tokenomics of Neon EVM. Of course, every proxy server will be operated by some personality, and this personality should have some motivation to run proxy server, to pay for server rent and so on, to pay for electricity. That's why we introduced tokenomics to our solution. We have Neon token here at the bottom of the screen, and Neon token is you can think of it as a replacement for Ethereum inside Neon EVM. It's our native token, and user pays for transactions by Neon tokens. These Neon tokens are resetted by operator, and operator, after it translates Ethereum transaction inside into Solana transactions, of course, he will pay transaction fee in sols, because he runs these transactions inside Solana. And this difference between Solana commission and Neon commission will become the profit for the operator. Also, we have payments for treasuries. Part of commission of operator will be paid to Neon EVM governance, and these payments will form a fund which will used to develop our ecosystem, develop our solution, to fix bugs. These treasuries, this fund will be used to pay salaries, to motivate developers. And finally, what we have at the end. We have absolutely the same environment that is familiar to Solidity developer and Solidity developers and Viper developers and every other Ethereum developers. And they can use all the tools they are preferred. You can use Solidity, you can use Hardhat, Truffle, Remix, MetaMask, you name it. Now I will show you a little demo. You can take a picture of this screen and follow by this link. There you can find our examples repository. I will wait for a while. second, please. So here I have this examples repository cloned to my local computer. You can find several projects. First three projects implement simple ERC20 smart contract, and it is deployed with different frameworks. You can use Python Brownie. If you prefer, you can use Hardhat or Truffle. We also have example with SQL ERC20 wrapper, but currently it's not completed, I would say. We have a big change inside core, and we will fix this example repository soon. For the first time, it's better to use these first three examples. And now I will show you how to deploy a smart contract to Neon EVM using Remix, because it's very simple to show. And first of all, I will present you settings of my MetaMask wallet. So, sorry for delay, okay. So, I will go to my settings and show you my network settings. I have a network called Neon DevNet, and here you can see that I have entry point proxy DevNet, Neon Labs or Solana. This is one of our proxy entry points. We have chain ID. You can find all this information in chainlist.org. If you type Neon, let me show. Chainlist.org, Neon, and here you can find two networks. Mainnet is not running yet, so you should use DevNet. And here you can find all the settings. And you can, of course, import these settings inside your MetaMask. So, after it, I will show you our test concept service. Of course, if you want to run something inside Neon, you will need Neon tokens. And we are providing test Neon tokens on DevNet. Just go to Neon for set.org. I already have 230, but I drop a little bit more. I will drop 100 Neons, send test tokens, wait for a while, go back to MetaMask, check that everything is okay, again wait for a while, transaction is not completed. Refresh. That's strange. But okay. I hope tokens will be received a bit later. I have enough tokens to run example. That's good. So I have very simple smart contract here. It's a done implementation of ERC20 smart contract, and with all the necessary functions: transfer, proof, transfer from, bit, burn, and so on. Nothing special, very simple implementation, even no requirements, even no checks. Very simple. I will compile it. Ready? Go to deployment page, and here I will switch environment to injected provider, MetaMask. Right, so good. Deploy. Oh, no. select trc20.sol. This is code that I copied from examples here. You can find the same code, let's say here, CRC20 hardhead contracts. Absolutely the same code. Okay, select file, deploy, transaction. Transaction will cost 9 neons. I said that neon is a replacement for Ethereum, but you should not expect the same fees because neon have another price, because neon EVM has another algorithms, because Solana virtual machine have another gas price calculation algorithms, and transaction for commission for transactions will differ from Ethereum one. That's normal. Confirm. So go back to MetaMask. Deployment is pending. Waiting. We also have Explorer service for Neon, where you can find all your transactions, called neonscan.org. Oh God, something bad happened, I think. The proxy. Yes, transactions not confirmed. So I'm so sorry, but seems the demo will not be finished. Obviously, I should contact our DevOps. I'm sorry, guys. So let's move on. Let's move to the question part. So, any questions?
Yeah, of course. So, I'll just have a mic.
How are fees determined? Is it constant? So if I have a digital contract now, I run it now, will it be the same fees in a month or time, or is it variable depending on the way? Is it like Ethereum at the moment where it's all over the place?
Okay, one second. Thank you.
I barely hear the sound from the venue.
So basically, how are fees determined, and how will they change over time? And like, will they be same a month from now, or like 6 months from now? Could you please explain that?
How the fees are determined? Okay.
How they're determined?
Are the fees deterministic?
Okay. Are the fees deterministic, pretty much?
Fees.
Yes.
Okay. Actually, what can change here in this scheme is gas price. Gas price changes according to current price of Neon and Sol. These prices are brought from Oracle Smart Contract deployed natively to Solana, and P is calculated as gas price multiply gas amount. Gas amount is constant for every particular transaction type, but gas price can vary according to prices of Sol, according to relation between prices of Sol and Neon. That's how it works. When you have when you have Neon goes up, then transaction price goes down. When you have Neon goes down, transaction price goes up. Basically, how it works.
Any other?
Am I answered?
Any other questions?
Oh, one second.
Thanks.
Hi, thanks so much for your chat. I was just wondering if you had capability to go from Solana EVM to your Neon onto your ETH EVM. And I was also wondering, in terms of your midpoint transaction, like just prior to the decentralization slide, whether you actually have to put that into a custodial wallet in order to transfer back into Solana, or whether that's non-custodial, and whether, like, obviously then at that point, is it a Solana wallet, so are you paying rent on that? And is that kind of going into your Neon payment?
Sorry, Z, can you repeat, please?
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, she wanted to find out how is the process of transfer of tokens between Neon to Solana to Ethereum. So like if you want to transfer stuff between the three, and then will the wallets be custodial? Like will there be any middle party in between holding tokens when they get transferred across the ecosystems or blockchains?
So currently we are working on two schemas. First schema is this: when you use third-party breach, and you should do two operations. First, you should enter your Ethereum liquidity through that breach inside Solana. After that, you got a SPL token, and after that, you can use a tool called Neon Pass, and I will show you Neon Pass live, I suppose. Yeah, this is the tool that allows you to transfer SPL tokens wrapped by ERC20 interface between Solana and Neon. So on the one side, will connect your Phantom wallet, where you have SPL token brought from Ethereum through the bridge. On the other hand, you will connect Neon. On the other hand, you will connect Neon as in your MetaMask wallet. Select token you want to transfer. These is tokens that are supported by Neon Pass currently. All these tokens except Neon are exist inside Solana as native SPL tokens, but they have ERC20 wrapper inside Neon. After that, you can transfer these tokens using Neon Pass. Yeah, this is the first option. Is to use some bridge and Neon Pass. The second option, we are currently working on it. We want to bring a bridge directly to Neon, so you will not you will not require this additional step in the form of Neon Pass. You will just transfer token using bridge inside Neon. And these tokens also will exist in the form of SPL tokens inside Solana. So you will not have isolated token inside Neon EVM, but you will have ERC20 wrapped token inside Neon EVM, and you will be able to interact with this token inside Solana. So, am I answered?
Does that answer your question?
Do they communicate with EVM?
Okay, yeah. Do they also communicate with Ethereum EVM? Could you give us a bit of info on that as well? So a smart contract on Neon and Solana connecting or talking to Ethereum smart contracts on the Ethereum EVM?
No, currently we're not providing such interoperability. All what's happening inside Neon EVM happening inside Solana. The only way is to interact just for particular cases like bridging tokens.
Any other questions?
Any last question?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, how's the consensus mechanism work?
Oh, consensus.
Are there people mining Neon, or how does the security work?
Yeah. Ivan, could you please go over the security and the consensus mechanism of Neon, please?
About security, we are constantly reviewing our changes. We are offering review from other companies. So all the changes inside Neon EVM are audited constantly. All the changes will be ruled by governance. This is about security and what else? I forget.
Mining of the token, like how are validator rewards, how do they work as
How token is mined?
well? Yeah, like if you do like staking and stuff, how does that will like nodes, how do all those things work? Validator.
So the token will be mined once, as I know, on the IDO, and this token will be available on the DEXs. Operators can buy these tokens and use them to, no, not operators, clients will be possible to buy these tokens and use them to pay commission to Neon EVM operators.
Does that answer your question?
So it's like a proof of stake mechanism or something?
Yeah, staking mechanism.
Alright.
Take mechanism. No, currently we don't have such.
So, will we have a staking mechanism, or how will it work? Could you please clarify?
I don't have information about staking mechanism, at least for the closest plans. I think no, we will not have this.
Okay, but we are a proof of stake blockchain, right? Or layer 2.
Yeah, of course, we are based on Solana consensus, and we are based on Solana stake mechanism.
Any other questions, guys? No, that's it. Thank you, guys.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Constantine and Ivan for the presentation. Thanks everyone for attending this event. Now it's time to network and mingle. And I'll see you next time.
Yes, sir.
Bye-bye.